Hi, Support Fibro friends. I recorded this video and it was going back and forth on whether to put it up. I was just unsure if you needed this type of information and what information you need about COVID-19 coronavirus. I know we're putting together separate information. I have a YouTube playlist going on. We're trying to keep our social media predominantly on fibromyalgia specific information, but if you are needing COVID-19 coronavirus information, please reach out and we'll be happy to share. I have been seeing susceptibility conversations regarding fibromyalgia. I've been seeing threads of information of people kind of arguing and saying that because fibromyalgia is not an autoimmune condition, we are not susceptible. I'm going to politely disagree and with susceptibility and flat out say yes. And I've been encouraging all fibromyalgia warriors to take the necessary precautions, like our autoimmune friends, like you're immune compromised. And I would feel free to tell people that you are immune compromised and just leave it at that. And there's a lot of rationale behind this, a lot of science. I know we don't have specific research on COVID-19 with fibromyalgia, but we do have some research with fibromyalgia, some more recent research with fibromyalgia, indicating an inflammatory response, an immune system response connection. We are seeing potentially some higher levels of CRP in relation to inflammatory response. So these are things you cannot discount. And we're getting more information on the COVID-19 virus. I've been on various webinars with infectious disease specialists, virus hunters, immunologists, so we're getting a better idea of what's happening on that side, but it's very complicated. And one thing that I've heard from the immunology talks is how complicated the immune response can be, and how different it is for each one of us, and to remember it's not linear. So when we're getting information on a particular supplement or what to do, it's like one small piece of the puzzle and we're not seeing the bigger picture that we need to take into account, because it's like general information that you can think about, but it's not personalized. So I don't know how your immune system is operating right now. I don't know how it's going to react with an infection. So these are things to think about, what works for you right now in order to build up your immune system. So we're looking at prevention. So how do you build up your immune system right now and protect yourself as much as you can living with the fibromyalgia condition? And that's what we have to really think about and consider, and think about what compromises it. There's different immune cells circulating through your body right now. They're going to all react differently. I don't know what you've been exposed to in the past. I don't know your genetic breakdown. You see this pathway planner behind me, how complex it is. Everyone's genetically built differently, and you can see all these systems and how they coexist together. So if you're even deficient in an area of nutrients, like I won't be able to tell you what to do because you may have that deficiency right now, and that may affect your immune system. There's also like underlying conditions. So we hear this in the news: diabetes, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure. Are you currently taking any medications for those? Have you been a cancer survivor? Do you have a lot of cancer in your family or autoimmune conditions in your family? So these are things that are going to play a role in your response. That, again, it's just about taking precautionary measures. Don't discount it just because fibromyalgia has not been placed into an autoimmune condition category. We know that the American College of Rheumatology categorizes fibromyalgia as a neurologic condition. And they've also acknowledged that you can have an autoimmune condition along with fibromyalgia, but we still don't have enough research to know what the connection is to autoimmune diseases and how fibromyalgia is connected and why people with autoimmune diseases are getting diagnosed with fibromyalgia. We do know that there's a high prevalence of thyroid dysfunction. Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease. Thyroid dysfunction can lead to deficiencies in vitamin A, and you're hearing about vitamin A's protective quality for lung infections and lung immune system. So we don't know where you're deficient in those areas. So, think about the advice that's being given right now on the internet and understand that it's going to be very personalized, and this which makes it complicated, and it makes it harder for people to share advice. And also, when you do listen to these immune talks, one of the things they're talking about that's good for the immune system is good quality sleep. So how many of us with fibromyalgia struggle with our sleep? So right there, one and done, basically, right? With our immune system. So we're struggling with our sleep. We have an amplification of pain. We already don't feel well. We have an amplification of stress. Our fight or flight system is already in hypervigilant state. So all of this is going to lower our immune system and protective benefits of what we need. So we really have to fortify that as much as we can, given our fibromyalgia diagnosis. Other things that have been brought up with COVID-19 is susceptibility with gut issues. How many of us in the fibromyalgia community have gut issues? Leaky gut issues related to the immune system as well. Again, with the newest research, we are also seeing brain inflammation, neuroinflammation, which is also very complicated when it comes to the immune system and the blood-brain barrier. So we do see immune cells coming in through the blood-brain barrier. That's why they advise not to touch your face, because these are entryways. We know with the nasal microbiome, oral microbiome is connected to the brain. We also know oral biome is connected to cardiovascular health. So these are entry points. Like, have you in the past, you get a lot of sore throats, get a lot of sinus infections. These are all things like remember that you have, so you get more of an increased susceptibility. Not to mention, can we just say out there that many of us describe our fibromyalgia flare-ups as having the flu. I remember from when I would get really bad flares, I could feel it like in my shoulders and start up with sore throats. I really felt like I was getting the flu all the time with these flare-ups, fatigue. So right then and there, we're describing fibromyalgia as already having the flu. And now here we have COVID-19, which is way stronger than the flu, is an infection. So we have that as well. And just from our knowledge of how did you feel before when you got the flu? I know many of us get flu-like symptoms really strong when we get infections with colds and flus. It lingers longer. It really incapacitates us, gets us more fatigued. We get higher fevers. We tend to already go to the ER. So these are things to like really, again, take the precautionary measures you need. Do not discount fibromyalgia. And again, please don't get into arguments with people online who do not understand fibromyalgia. It doesn't help us in any way or stress us out. But keep that in mind, because you already described fibromyalgia as having the flu. There is research that was taking place to see if we have different brain temperatures for fibromyalgia ME/CFS to explain that flu-like symptom. So I think you can understand why we would have more susceptibility, and I tried to just sum it up for you really quick. And anyone else has any questions, please reach out. I'd be happy to answer as much as I can based on the research that we do know. Take precautions, follow our autoimmune friends, follow our immune compromised friends. And as I said before, just tell people you are immune compromised and leave it like that. No sense in overthinking this right now. Stay safe. Please stay home unless it is absolutely necessary to go out. And I've seen my feed recently in social media. There's a lot of advocates getting sick and being tested positive for COVID-19. Reach out if you need any assistance in any way that we can help right now. Support Fibro, Team Fibro is here for you. Next week, we're going to do something different. We're moving with some more fibromyalgia content. I hope to have some guests on board for next week. Stay tuned. I will see you later.